a really exceptional ball striker. You win, $2 million on tour. But, a lot going on in your life through that process, through that experience. And so, in reading up on your story, I was, one, there's a lot that I identified with. So it's always, people listen to this. I'm in recovery myself, and sober person. So, reading some of those experiences brought back, some good and bad memories of my own, in my own sort of line of work. But it's great to be reminded. Yeah, it's they're wonderful reminders of sort of what's out there and things to be to stay aware of. So it starts. It sounds like it starts in high school with with birdie pills. Tell me about birdie pills.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm just from a small town, and a lot of blue collar workers, a lot of veterans, a lot of people getting injured. And back then, and especially in the Southeast, had I been born in Australia, I would have never done this, or in Britain or wherever, places where they didn't have our screwed up pharmaceutical laws. And, we're one of two countries in the world that can advertise pharmaceuticals on the television. They overprescribed in the 80s and 90s. Obviously it's an addictive substance. So, but they're making money off of that. So they just keep pumping those things out. And then where I grew up, it turned into a thing where there's just thousands and thousands and thousands of them. I mean, the hydrocodone. Hydrocodone, which you take after a minor, injury, break your arm as a kid or something, and then, or dental surgery, just the hydrocodones or the Percocets. And, they were just everywhere, as a kid, I mean, I was so desensitized to that stuff. I mean, we're taking, name brand OxyContin in, middle school.
Yeah.
13, 14 years old. So that's just what was there. It was part of my existence, part of everybody in my town's existence. And, it was just really easy to be like, yeah, I'll try some, because they honestly did make me a really good golfer. I took them the whole time I was on the PGA Tour until like the end. I was able to like kind of get off them, but it was a massive part of my life from probably 99, 2000 until 3 years ago.
Yeah. Well, tell me about someone listening would say, all right, you're taking painkillers or, and it's making you a better golfer, or you're still able to play golf at a high level. For someone who's not familiar, who would say, if I took that, you'd wake me up a week later.
Yeah, probably go to sleep.
And like I'd be in, and you're able to kind of not only are you able to function, you need it to function, right?
Yeah.
Could you describe that to somebody of being able to take this stuff to actually, well, now I can do what I'm supposed to do? Because there's something about, I think, the nature of addiction, or trying to explain what that feeling is like. It's not so much a matter of like, I took this or I drank this. In my experience anyway, I drank this to feel better. It's like, no, I needed to drink that so I could, or take that or whatever, so that I could feel normal and function. Right. So it's that line between like, are you doing this to feel good? Which is, I think, what people misunderstand sometimes about substance abuse is it's like, wow, you're chasing all these high feelings. Like, no, I'm chasing away, like feeling like I'm going to die is really more like it.
I had every version of justification or reason to take stuff, but I didn't realize like how bad my anxiety was.
Yeah.
And I mean, I played golf at a high level from such a young age. I could never eat. I could never sleep when I was in competition. So I by default turned pro. I was just really good and that was what you did. And I had a great backer. So like the intense anxiety that I was dealing with led me to take more drugs to deal with it. Cause I always used to think, pop a Percocet and then hit it 330 down the first hole and make a couple $100,000, on that Sunday. I mean, I can't picture a better day. I mean, being just faded out of my skull, shooting 65 on the PGA Tour, getting a couple $100,000, and then going to have a party with my friends. But if I didn't have it, it wasn't necessarily like I was in pain physically, but I would just throw up from the nerves.
Yeah.
I used it as an anxiety depressor, I just, when I won the Corn Ferry event, I was sober at that point. I was maybe like smoking a little bit of weed and drinking a little bit, but I slept maybe an hour that night. Couldn't eat any.
Really?
I teed off at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I thought everybody went through that, but that's not the case at all. I couldn't freaking sleep. If I teed off at 2 o'clock with a lead, I'd been up since midnight or 1 a.m.
Yeah.
So that's 13, 14 hours, and like, when you take a little something, then you can sleep and then you wake up and you can eat. So that was my main thing is like, I just couldn't handle the nerves. And I played professional golf because I didn't know any better. I really did. I mean, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. It's what led me where I am now. Cause had I not played, I wouldn't be a successful caddy. Yeah. Mm. It's just
Yeah.
the nerves. People don't understand how intense the nerves are when you are a depressed, anxious person.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different deal. It is a different deal because your whole life you've been working on something since you were a kid, and then here it is. Don't fuck it up now. And
Yeah.
and then when you lose the ability to play it at a high level, you think, well, I've been working on this since I was 4 o'clock. This is what I put all my eggs into this basket, and it doesn't work anymore. Like, I can't make money doing this. Like, what do I do now? Fortunately for me, caddying was what it was. But yeah, that I did mine just because one, I loved the feeling, but more than anything, I just loved I loved the anxiety relief.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
think it's, when you get to the point where you've been, anxiety was a big part of my story. And yeah, if alcohol being a depressant, right? Like just pump it on
hmm
there. But the problem is
oh yeah,
you take that away and your mind has been, wired to
yeah.
require that dousing. And it's pretty
You got to
scary.
learn how to live. You
You
got to learn how
do.
to live,
You do.
I tell people I didn't know who I was until 2022. 2020, yeah, 2022 is literally the first time that I like met myself as an adult.
Yeah.
That's true. That's totally true.
Yep.
I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who I liked. I didn't know even like what food. I didn't know what my personality was. I've been so high since I could, uh, steal shit from my parents. As in just from the cabinet. My dad has chronic back pain. So yeah, I didn't know what was going on until I went to rehab, in 2022.
Well, what have you been finding? What have you,
Just a nervous, crazy son of a gun. But like I never understood that at that whole time I was logging in some fantastic golf information
Sure.
and and great just experience and I mean just getting this master class course in golf and over the decades of being involved in the game, um I thought it was just that I just play golf, but I realized that information is really valuable to people. So that's now I can give all that information to Sungjae or whoever I am dealing with. I just, nervous guy, not, I just, I learned to, how interpersonal communication, not good. I was not never good with that.
Hmm.
My relationships, I feel bad for all the girls that I dated, that's for sure. Um, I mean, I was engaged once. I had a great girl from Birmingham. She was like on TV, and the drugs and alcohol made me really cocky sometimes too. It made me like, I'm on the PGA Tour. Don't, you know what I mean? Don't, like, I did this. This is my show. That type of stuff. And I mean, I would never get like like, I would probably get angry. It's not like I ever was physically abusive, but like I was super distant. I was always isolated. I would have manic episodes of wanting to have a girlfriend and do a few weeks of where we're all cuddly and like honeymoon phase and flying her to tournaments, things like that. And then on a dime, if I got a bad batch or took too much or, was depressed because of my golf game or something, I would just disappear. I mean, I feel awful for everybody that had to be around me. Cause it was just so flighty. You just didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. What got you to the point, you say 3 years ago, to make a change there and go in a different
Well,
direction?
the fentanyl was introduced. So when I was a kid, we were doing like name brand, like stuff from, the whatever Merck. I don't know what the big industrial pill factories. We were doing the stuff that
Right.
scientists made, the ones that scientists made. That's what I always did. I always liked to, because I had a little bit extra cash. I didn't want to do the dirty crap that can like, and I didn't. So then I run out of every dollar that I made on the tour. Spent it all. Had about $1,000 left, and so you got to buy the cheap stuff. And
Yeah.
so I started buying the fentanyl, and just I was on a podcast, Steve Wheatcroft, the other day. I just wake up in a pile on the floor an hour later, not knowing what was happening. I mean, it knocks you out. And it
Hmm.
also affects your body way more. You just wither away from that stuff when it's made in a 50-gallon drum in the hills in Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the fentanyl. So the fentanyl causes way more intense withdrawals, and it affects your body way, way more. You literally cannot function on that. That's the difference. Like I wasn't doing fentanyl when I was on the PGA Tour because it wasn't around yet. Fentanyl showed up in about 2016, at least in my circle. Um, and yeah, it was the fentanyl. Just because you can't, that's talk about a dead end. I mean, doing
Right.
oxy's, not good, but that is on another level. That's another issue, having fentanyl in your body.
Yeah.
And it is the most violent, terrifying thing I've ever seen. I mean, just the full body convulsions, dry heaving, sleeping I slept an hour the first 5, 6 days.
Shit.
So yeah, you're just seeing stuff,
So,
you hearing things.
uh, so you pull yourself out of that spiral. Spirals, they're tough to get out of.
Yeah.
Um, and you get some help. How are things for you now? How's life without it?
Oh, it's great. It's unbelievable. I absolutely love every second of it. And I'm just so lucky that I can, number one, travel, two, have my travel paid for, just
Yeah.
by having such a great job and a successful, boss. Oh, it's amazing. I mean, I always had like a home base, and now like I'm different than other drug addicts in that I can just hop on a plane and leave. Most people can't do that.
Right.
If I run into somebody that sells drugs or something like that, then I mean, I've done it before. I'll just go grab my stuff. I'll just shake everybody's hand where I am and say, all right, nice to meet y'all. I'll go grab my bag and I'll just go straight to the airport. And just leave, because I know if I'm in the town with the person that has the Percocets, I'm going to take them. I've got the money, I've got the time, so I basically, I had the ability. I mean, we used to always say you can't run from your problems. I don't know why somebody told me that I confided in, and it's like, well, you can though. Uh, you can run from your problems. And so that's what I do.
Yeah, you can certainly. Yeah, I mean, you got to make smart choices about the people and the places you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's part of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also, that, as you say, getting to know yourself. That process of like, all right, why did I do this? Why did I do the shit that I did?
Just nervous Nelly, undiagnosed.
Was it hard to go back playing, since you'd always like associate like golf and using it always like kind of been together for you for forever? Like, did you think like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to play without this stuff?
Well, I never played professionally without it. I was on the stuff I lost full status in 2021. So, I mean, you mean just recreationally?
Or just, how is golf going to fit into your life if it has this like kind of, if you needed, if you needed to get right to,
well, I'm not
at that level.
I'm not playing on the PGA Tour anymore. So, I mean, if you threw me into a PGA Tour event tomorrow, I would be really, really, really nervous. I mean, I would never do that, first of all. But I just don't play at a high level anymore, which is great. And, it allows me to not have those nerves. So those nerves that used to control my life are not there anymore.
Yeah.
I don't have any drug seeking behaviors, because I don't have to worry about hitting a snap hook in front of 10,000 people. Yeah.
Well, hey man, it seems like you're doing really well. Like you're in a good place.
Yep. Yeah. Well, it's worked out great. I can't believe it. I can't believe it worked out so great, but it took me, 6 years to kind of shake free of all the demons and realize what I needed to do to avoid them. And that's what I was able to do. It's just a real freeing kind of, sigh of relief. Every day is just like, oh my, it's just so much simpler now. Between women and drugs and partying, I was just all over the place.
It's not easy to, it's hard work to be a good addict or drunk or alcoholic or whatever. It's
very hard work.
It's a full-time job trying to keep yourself right, functioning, try and participate in the world in some way, shape, or form. It will wear you down, right? Faking it, faking life. So, but you're not, you're living it now, man. I'm really, really happy for you.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a relief. It's a relief. I'm really glad that I came out of it, and people love the fact that I came out of it. I've put on 30 pounds since rehab, and when I went to rehab, I was 150 pounds in 2022. Now I'm like over 180. So everybody, right when they see me, I was like, Jesus, because my face is fuller. I have color in my skin. I mean, even if you go back and look at my tour pictures, like if you just look up Will Wilcox Golf, and you'll see my tour profile pictures. In most of those, I look like wet cardboard. I mean, I just look like shit. Super skinny face. My hair looks greasy. Got circles under my eyes. I just puffy.
Yep.
Just look awful. Feel awful. It's an unbelievable reminder.
You know what? You're right. And I'm laughing not out of any sort of malice. I think there's we get to laugh when you've shared some of that experience. I still have my ID from my detox, and that picture.
Yeah.
Whew.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've gotten red. I bet you're puffy and red.
Oh, puffy as hell. I was like I got attacked by bees.
Yeah, and the
It was bad.
the redness is scary.
Yeah. No, it is amazing the first week, and people are like, "Damn, you look different."
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks, you're like, "You look different." You know. So
Yeah.
for anyone who's listening, and there's and wants to do something differently, there's certainly
Yeah.
a way to
It
do
can
that.
be done.
It can be done.